everyone, welcome to Honestly Tea, where you honestly get just me. Today's a long one, folks. I ended up doing a coloring book page using some coloring pencils, and I didn't expect for this video to be this long. I really tried to speed it up, but I didn't want to speed up too fast so that it's like you don't understand what's going on. So it just so happens to be this long, but it's cool. I get to talk about more things with you guys. So what I will say first off is this coloring book page comes from one of my favorite coloring book design creators. I'll put her name in the description below and where you can find it. And I kid you guys not, I actually have a 168 pack coloring pencil set that I got off of Amazon as well. Amazon knows me at this point. I know this is a slight sidetrack, but like I know that Amazon's main purpose is to get me to buy things. And the more I buy things, the more it's going to make me buy more things. But I can't help it that it knows my taste at this point. Like I'll buy an arts and crafts thing and it's just like, I bet you haven't heard about this craft. I bet you haven't heard about this brand. And I'm just like, you're right, Amazon. I haven't heard about this before. Let me check it out. And then next thing I know, my cart is filled with like $80 to $90 of stuff that I wasn't planning to spend. So the 168 pack of coloring pencils was one of those items, but I love it. It did last me for a while and it still is. And I'm really happy with the colors and how it comes out on the page. And you guys know how much I love to have sort of that vibrant pop with the colors. And with these coloring pencils, I sort of get that. And the shades are sort of like not too far off from each other, but it's still noticeable, at least to me. So it's really good for me to shade like with the hair and get the clothing pattern to look a little bit nice. I feel like if I had to change one thing, and I know we haven't got to that part yet where you see me doing the clothing part, but if I were to change one thing, I feel like I would have changed how I colored the clothes. I know it makes it seem like I was sloppy with it, but I really didn't know how else to play around with it, with the colors, with the red that I chose. So that's what we did. But as you can see, this is more of like a ghostly thing, and I wanted her to look sort of cute. Of course, she looks cute before I colored it, but I wanted to have more of that vibrant purple. Her skin is gonna be blue, like you'll see. But I didn't color the background because I'm lazy. That's the honest tea. I don't like coloring backgrounds. This is not my thing. I feel like there's but so much you can do, and I know that I say this now, but then if I were to go to another artist page of like speed coloring something, they'll be like, there's so much you could do with the background. But for me, that's not my shtick. I prefer just coloring like the actual thing itself, and if I feel like coloring the back, I'll do it later on. But it just seems like it's less enjoyable for me to do that. So I did not color the background, but if you guys want me to start trying to sharpen my skills and color the background, I will try. Will I enjoy it? The world may never know. So yeah, that's sort of what I did there. And now I get to talk about something random. So my random thing that I want to talk about is superheroes. I love superheroes. I love Marvel. I love DC. I'm more of a Marvel person just because of the movies. I've been exposed to a lot of the comics. Have I owned a hardcover copy of them? No, but I would sort of Google like this superhero that I hear from passing conversation or that one and pick up the pieces from there. I feel like the DC villains are more like the villains and the superheroes are more realistic. And I know that doesn't make sense because they're Superman, but there's like I feel like the reason why they get their powers and stuff is a little bit more reasonable. I know this isn't making sense, but like I understand how they got their powers because there's always like this deep dramatic backstory, and you know, you really feel for them and it makes sense. Aside from like when you go to Marvel, it's like I got bit by a spider. I'm rich. Like I know Batman has the same thing. I know that like I'm also gonna get a lot of people mad by saying like, oh, I like this one better. I don't think one superhero franchise is better than the other in the slightest. They all have their pros and cons, but I personally just like the Marvel movies better, but DC comics I sort of tend to like a little bit more. And speaking of the movies, oh my god, I can't wait to see what phase 2 like movie wise has in store. I know that phase 2 is already happening with the shows that they have. I really want to look at Loki. I do, because I feel like that will be really good. I don't want to look at Black Widow. I I know this isn't like an unpopular opinion, but like I personally just don't like Black Widow and I don't like Hawkeye. Like those two I feel in the MCU like movie universe doesn't do it for me. Like, okay, hear me out guys, right? You're telling me we're going up against an almost literal god, which is Thanos, right? And you got your boy Iron Man, he got his suits and stuff. You got, Scarlet Witch, I mean, she died, but you got like Spider-Man. You have Thor, who's Loki a god. Get it, Loki. But Thor, who's also a god, but in the MCU isn't a god. He's like a demigod sort of thing. I get it. But you have like all these powerful characters, right? Even the Hulk, he has like super strength, right? And you're telling me you also sent an invitation to a girl that could shoot good and a guy that could shoot good? Like, no, like that's sort of my thing. Like those two invites to the Smash Brawl of the MCU could have gone to more deserving people. Like, I don't know, Storm. I know Storm was owned by the separate company, but now they have it now, so maybe she'll be added in. But Storm is my favorite superhero character. I love her. I just think that she's really cool and her powers are really cool. And I just really wish that she disappeared. Like they added Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and they're from X-Men, but I know that they had the rights to it, and also Quicksilver died in like the first movie that he appeared in. But I say that to say, and Scarlet Witch too, yeah, that was a shame. But when she like came back for that like fight scene, like Captain Marvel was talking all this smack. I don't know if I'm spoiling anything for anybody. The movie's been out for a while, so if you haven't seen it, see it. I'm not sponsored, but I just think it's a pretty good movie. Anyway, Captain Marvel had all this time and was saying all this smack about how if she was there, she would have killed Thanos and she would have done this, that, and the third. And then as soon as she has the time and opportunity, nothing happens. She gets her stuff rocked, right? And now I'm sitting here like, that's what you get. And I know that in the comics, she actually does kill Thanos. I get that. There's a lot of people that end up killing Thanos in different timelines. I understand that. But movie Captain Marvel, not a fan. But in less time, Scarlet Witch didn't even like know what happened. She literally just got revived and she was rocking Thanos. Like he had to come out with the ship to defeat her. And you're telling me she doesn't get her own movie? Anyway, side tangent from that rant. I really did love the movies. I feel like the scene where it was between spoiler alert, but the scene where Black Widow and Hawkeye were fighting on who dies because they didn't want the other to die. I personally, in that movie theater, was not moved. I was just like, both of you could die and we could just have a backup soul stone. I don't know who's gonna deliver the soul stone, but I genuinely do not care. That's just sort of me, and I know that sounds really mean and cruel. Like, they're just taking up space. You're going up against a celestial being that has all of the stones, and you want them? Like, you invite them to the party? And then it was just so frustrating to me, because it's like, why? And I get why for Black Widow, because, we need more female representation, and apparently they're really scrapping for some good female superheroes, Scarlet Witch, or I don't know, maybe a better Captain Marvel. I just don't like how they did her personality at all in her solo movie and in Endgame. Again, me personally, did not vibe with that. Another side note, I don't understand why it's so hard for the creators to make good female superheroes. Like, it just never fails. I mean, Wonder Woman was amazing. I loved Wonder Woman. It stayed true to the comics, but also it added its own little flair to it. The actress was really good. They wrote her in a good way. I appreciated that. But my thing is that I rarely see, and this could be for like anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be like superhero movies. It could be video games. It could be whatever. Whenever there's a female, creators just think, ooh, let me just add big boobs and big butt, and she's sassy, she's nerdy and quirky, but when she takes off her glasses, ooh boy, she's the hot one, and she always has to have a love interest, and she always needs rescuing. Like, we're in 2020, we're about to be in 2021. Like, can we just change it up a little bit? Like, I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing like this. Like, I appreciate strong, independent women, yes, full-heartedly go for it. But if you make them like an a-hole, don't. Like, I just don't understand why you can't control C a male character's personality and their backstory and just having overall a human being response to things and just control V it to a woman. Like, it's the same thing. There's so many MCU characters that I love because they have that backstory, they have that moral dilemma, they go through issues, and it's a reasonable response based off of what they've been through and how they do it, and they have personality. Like, I think that's the issue. Like, a lot of the MCU women don't have that likable personality. I'm not saying that they have to be likable to everybody, right? But it's like they just don't have that personality. Like, their personality is just summed up by their looks and one-liners. But meanwhile, we get all of Tony Stark, we get all of the Hulk, we get all of Thor, and like when we finally get all of Captain Marvel, I'm sitting through the movie theaters like, oh, okay. Anything else you want to add about this character? Like, am I supposed to be happy? Question mark. Like, I don't know. It just wasn't for me personally. And I haven't looked at the Black Widow thing. I've only seen the trailers, and I'm pretty sure it's summed up to, I'm a Russian baddie and I fight all the bad guys, and oop, my sister's low-key the villain and I have to fight her, but I don't know it, and I was grown up in this Russian thing. Like, I just feel it in my bones, and it's nothing more than that. I might be wrong. I personally might be wrong. I didn't see raging reviews about the Black Widow movie, but that's sort of my opinion there. I just wish that in phase 2, I want Storm to either be included and have a prominent role and they don't mess her up, even though I feel like they probably would mess her up because they don't have a good track record with female superheroes. But I hope that if she's in it, she's done right. I want her to have a movie. Again, personally, just me. Is it possible that she'll have her own movie? I don't know, but I would just want that. Side note, I know that she gets married to T'Challa, and since, we're not gonna get a Black Panther, I'm assuming we're not gonna get a Black Panther, I feel like that would be sort of rude to remake him so fast, because unfortunately he has passed, the actor has passed, Chadwick Boseman. So I don't think that they're gonna redo Black Panther anytime soon because of that, which is fair. So there really is no excuse for her to be reliant on a guy or like have that trope. I just feel like she'll just come in storm swinging. It would be so cool. Also, side note about Black Panther, which was an amazing movie, 10 out of 10. I feel like, were they wrong? Like, and I definitely know that Killmonger was wrong, but like the father with his whole thing of, we have good relations with the other countries, but we're not going to tell them about the vibranium. We're not going to tell them our location because they're just going to start some stuff and we have to clean up the pieces. Like, was he wrong about that though? Because like, he really wasn't, because when T'Challa opened up the borders and gave the vibranium, they started using it excessively, which was prediction number 1. Prediction number 2, they had a whole war on his land. Did they help clean that up? Like, we just like breezed over that. Like, why did it have to be at Wakanda? Like, I get it had to be at Wakanda because of vibranium and stuff and easy supply, but like, like, you just messed up his whole land and we're just supposed to be like, yeah, that's a good job. I just, that part was pretty iffy to me, just in general. I was just like, why does it have to be at Wakanda? Like, I get it. Also, from that movie, from Black Panther, the movie, obviously, I feel like I'm not the only one to have this opinion, but I didn't care about Bucky. I really did not care that he was alive and that they resurrected him. Bucky was also one of those characters where it was just like, oh, plot for Captain America, but other than that, you really were like, I totally forgot that he died. Like, when I saw the end credits and I sat for it, and then it was just like Bucky, and I was like, oh yeah, he did have that thing, right? Wow, I don't care. I feel so heartless right now talking about all these characters that I don't care for. But it's like, it's not that I hate their characters per se. I mean, I really don't care about Bucky. He was just sort of there. But I don't hate the characters per se. Like, I don't hate Black Widow and I don't hate Hawkeye. My thing is that I just feel like they weren't necessary, because they really weren't helpful aside from one of them dying to get a soul stone. You know what I mean? Like, in the beginning, they were very helpful because they were doing earthly, like, villains, you know, like, they could handle that sort of thing. But as time goes on and we're now dealing with outer space and, like, almost gods, you think that they would help evacuate the people. Like, that could be helpful. That would be helpful. I would appreciate the character so much more if they were helping people evacuate from the spaces, or they were helping out food shelters or something. I don't know. But, like, we already established that a gun isn't going to do anything with Thanos, and we already established that an arrow isn't going to do anything to Thanos. So, and I mean, I guess the same argument could be with Star-Lord, but, like, at least he has machinery and stuff that could be helpful. You know what I mean? Because he is from outer space, quote unquote. He is from outer space. I don't like Star-Lord because he really couldn't wait like 5 freaking seconds to just let the plan go. But no, he had to be like, not my girl. So it's, the whole movie was great. I didn't expect to spend this much time just talking just about MCU, but it is amazing that it's going so well and that it's so in depth, and most of the characters' personalities and stuff are thought out. And I honestly didn't think that there would be a phase 2 movie wise because of just how epic phase 1 was. But I can't wait to see what they do. I know that there are rumors and talks about the second phase being like a multi-universe and adding like more than one Spider-Man, and possibly, it would be so cool if they add Deadpool. I know the likelihood of them adding Deadpool is very slim because MCU sort of wants to keep that rating to not R, which is understandable, but it would just be funny to see Deadpool and Spider-Man together again, like how it was in the animated cartoons. And that's just me personally wanting that. But I do know that there is hints about it being a multiverse, and I can't wait to see how that happens. I just want it to be good. Like, I feel like that's everybody's wish, and I'm pretty sure that's the company's wish. But I just want it to be like, not like, you know how like sequels aren't usually good because they just want to take what happened the first time and then just do the same thing but like a slightly different scenario. Like, I don't want that to happen. Like, I want it to be original. But also, I'm not a movie director. I wouldn't know how to begin something like this. I'm not the hugest with storytelling, so that's just me. If I were to have a superpower, I know that's it's a large tangent from talking about MCU, but just thinking about it, like, if I were to have a superpower, I feel like it would be like water based. Like, it would be something with water, because it's just really cool. And I'm not gonna lie, Avatar: The Last Airbender, I thought that Katara was really cool, and she had like those waterbending powers, and then she had that like conflict with bloodbending, which I understand. That's really scary to be messing with someone's life like that. But like, rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender, I feel like the whole, oh, I don't want to kill anybody thing argument doesn't really stand too well. Because, like, there were a lot of times when they're battling people and stuff like that, or they're just trying to get from city to city. And I'm pretty sure that the people that they interact with and fight are at least heavily injured, you know? Like, even if they're not considered dead, I'm pretty sure they're heavily injured. I remember, like, the scene for when they were trying to get into Ba Sing Se, into the temple, the Earth Temple, and they just were pushing people off of the staircase, like, from left and right. And I'm just like, the way they're going up the staircase, it seems like it's pretty far to the ground, and the way they're tumbling, I don't know if they're alive or not. Like, they're also earthbenders, so maybe they were also okay, but I don't know. Also, wow, how did we get to Avatar? But I'll continue this conversation. Avatar: The Last Airbender, I love it. Obviously, who doesn't? I personally, I feel like I'm not the only one to have this opinion. I appreciate Katara and Aang getting together, right? I love that. Cute. Goals for days. However, I really liked the possibility of Katara being with Zuko, just because I don't know, like, yeah, he did, like, kill her mother, like, indirectly, and was trying to kill them for the most of the time, but, like, they didn't know that he was going through daddy issues, and she didn't know that either. And, like, the scene when she was gonna heal the burn, why didn't she heal the burn afterwards, though? Like, even in the post, like, the after, what am I trying to say? Not epilogue. Is it epilogue? Is that the name of the song? Anyway, even after the series ended, and, like, in the cartoons and things like, in the comics and things like that, like, he still has the scar over his eye. And I don't know if I missed the description where it was like, oh, she tried and she couldn't, or he just kept it as a souvenir. But I felt like she could have healed his scar. Just, that would have been nice. But, yeah, overall, that was such a good show. Like, and for it to still, like, I feel like it was a children's show, but it wasn't. Like, I remember watching it when I was still in elementary school and being, like, souped up for it. But even still watching it now, it's such a sound cartoon. Like, it's so good, like, fighting scene wise, the comedy aspects, and even the filler episodes weren't bad. Like, they didn't even feel like filler episodes. They just felt like we were getting more info about a certain character. Like, the filler episodes with Zuko's sister, Azura? Is that her name? I'm pretty sure it was Azura. And her friends, like, chilling at the beach, and you realize that, oh, like, she's evil, but, like, she's not evil, right? I mean, like, she goes crazy in the end. Like, she goes wild. But just seeing her with her friends, and at that beach episode when they really, like, started a whole fight with the guys that are trying to hit on them, it was really cool. I love those sort of things. Like, I just love when there are characters that have superpowers and there's more of a conflict to them, sort of feel. And I feel like Avatar did that. Like, I feel like this is going full circle now, but I don't like it when a show or a movie is just comprised of, hey, I'm the good guy, I have power, boom, the end. Like, I just don't like that. And I was sort of disappointed with Civil War, because I thought that they were going to touch upon a really good topic, which I like to see whenever there's superheroes, which is, like, how do we know what we're doing is good or bad? And, like, whenever we save people, there's so much destruction with it. And I'm just like, yes, this is a good thing to talk about. Like, how are your powers and the stuff that you do affect others? But they sort of just dropped the ball on it. And that's sort of why I liked Avatar, because it also had that aspect of, like, what are we doing and how is it affecting other people? I just thought that the way that Avatar handled it could have been something that the MCU could have tried doing it, which is they're learning, and, well, I mean, they already have their powers, but, like, as Aang was sort of learning his powers and stuff, he was seeing, like, how divided the lands were, and traveling and learning about the different cultures and things like that, and really had a reflection on himself, like, do I want to kill? Like, is that the thing? And when Katara had her thing about the bloodbending, it was like, do I really want to affect people's lives like that? I don't think that that's the right way. So I just love that sort of divide because it just shows more depth than I'm main character and I have power, and it shows more that like it makes us as the audience think more like, yeah, you know, maybe they shouldn't have thrown that car at that person because that was someone's car, you know, instead of taking everything that the superhero does is always good and they never do bad aside from the one time that they do bad but then come back, you know. So that's sort of my rant on superheroes. And I know that this had really nothing to do with the coloring page that I was talking about, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. I really do love superheroes. Superhero games, there are some good superhero games. Okay, the Spider-Man, like the DLC with Miles Morales, I love it. I personally would have liked if they did a similar character design to the cartoon, because like he's supposed to be 17 and my dude looks like he has a full mortgage. So, and his voice sounds like he's still a teenager. I don't know. That's just sort of my nitpicky thing, but it looks so good. Like the animation wise, the fight scenes, the gameplay is so fluid. I personally love it. But yeah, that's sort of my take on superheroes. If I was a superhero, I feel like I wouldn't be a superhero, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I feel like I would be one of those anti-heroes that just sort of do whatever I want. But like I wouldn't be a villain. I wouldn't do something to harm others, but I also wouldn't readily get involved in something unless like I felt like I needed to, like if it affected me or something. But I feel like I would just be using my powers to just chill. Like if I had water abilities, I'll just use it to grow plants or like get water from the fridge and like help me with my daily life. I feel like I wouldn't tell anybody about it though, because then that's when stuff gets messy and people are just like, oh, you have powers, then do this for me or do that for me. I'm just like, no, thank you. I just want to be here by myself chilling. I feel like that would be me. I don't even know what my superhero, if I was a superhero name, would even be, but I imagine it would be something cool. I hope I would think of something cool if I was a superhero that could bend water or could control water. I mean, I feel like that's a useful ability. But yeah, enough of me rambling. I hope that you guys like this video and want to see more like this. Let me know in the comments down below, and check out the stuff that's in the description as well. And yeah, well, that'll do it for this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and just remember, every second that you see is me just connecting pieces. Thank you for coming, thank you for staying, thank you for watching this video.